Welcome to the 5-part video series discussing important concepts related to installing SBM. As a review, we have explored the SBM architecture and installation strategies. We prepared our servers, ran the initial installation, and connected to our databases. This time we will initialize our databases and log in for the first time. It is important to understand that the first part of this video will initialize a new empty database. If you are already using SBM and already have a working database with data in it, you will need to skip the first part of this video. Otherwise, these steps will delete all of the existing data in your database. Let's start with a quick look at the documentation. We will go to documents.microfocus.com, search for the SBM page, make sure we're looking at the right version number, and then click Install to get to the installation section. The part we will follow today is under SBM installation and configuration, single server installation, and then initializing the databases. I'm not sure why this page is under the single server installation section because the same steps apply if there is a multiple server environment as well. Either way, these are the steps we're going to follow, so let's go ahead and get started. We are back on our demo server that we've been using so far for all of our steps. Before we get started, I want to point out one little part in Configurator. We're here on the database server screen. You'll notice at the top here we have the ODBC data source, and that name by default is SBM_AE. We are going to be seeing this a lot during our video, and I wanted to show you where this is set. We need to open up the SBM System Administrator. This can be found from the Start menu under Microfocus, and then SBM System Administrator. The system will try to connect to our database and read some of the tables, but those tables do not exist yet. That will give us this warning, telling us that the SBM AE database could not be opened. We'll just click OK past this message. Next, we get the Connect screen where we could connect to a different database, but this is the right one. We're just not ready yet, so we'll just click Cancel on here. Now that we're in, we'll use the tools in here to initialize the database. This is under Tools and Create New Database. It gives us a warning that this process will initialize the database and existing data will be deleted. So again, if you're connecting to an existing database with data, you need to click No and skip this part of the video. Otherwise, click Yes to continue. The database wizard will open with a welcome screen. We can click Next. On the destination page, we will use the drop-down to select our SBM AE database and click Next. On the connection page, put in your database username and password. This should be the same one that you're using in SBM Configurator. And then we'll click Next. This message is a reminder that the user ID that you entered here will become the owner of the tables that are created. So go ahead and click OK. The System Settings page is for your SBM settings. The first field is for the administrator login. This is the first user that will be able to log into the system. When the system is initialized, this will be the only user who can log in. By default, most people use the login name of admin, and then you can give admin a password. Be sure that you remember this password. This will be your only way to log in initially. And of course, we'll confirm our password. For environment set, we will put in a name for our environment. I'm setting up a test server, so I'll just put in test. And next we have our license server. We have not installed the license server yet and it has not been set up. So we're just going to go ahead and leave this blank for now. We'll have another video series walking you through how to do the license server. So that's all on this page. Just go ahead and click Next. There are two tables that come with SBM out of the box. They are the contact table and the company table. You can accept these tables as they are. You'll notice that the tables are selected and all the fields are selected. Or if you don't want to use these tables, you can select uncheck all and skip this part. If you're not sure, I suggest keeping all of the fields checked and keep them here and go ahead and just click next. Finally, on the finish page, we'll click finish and the initialization will start. This process will take a few minutes as the tables and fields are created. So just wait for it to finish and it will be done shortly. You will see the templates and images begin to be loaded into the databases. When the initialization is finished, you will get the Connect screen. Go ahead and click on OK. You will see that we are now connected to the database. You'll see the Connect message at the bottom, and you will see some different tabs up here at the top. There are more configuration options in this administrator that you can do. They are under Options and Settings. We're not going to go over all of these settings today, but if you would like, you can come in here and click on Help. That will take you directly to the help page that talks about all of these options. Let's go ahead and close out of the System Administrator. We are done in here. Now that we have initialized the application engine tables, it's now time to initialize the rest of the tables. To do that, what we're going to do is have Configurator open, and we're going to look through each of our screens, or the important ones anyway. We've already looked at the database screen before, and the component screen, the IIS screen. You're used to some of these. You saw them last time. Let's get down to the license server screen. On this screen, you will put in the server URL that goes to your license server. We have not set this up yet. Again, that's going to be a different set of videos. So for now, we're just going to use evaluation mode. So go ahead and just change our option up here to evaluation. We are now set at 59 days for our evaluation. By default, it starts at 60 days and counts down. Next, let's look at the authentication screen. On this screen, you will see the different authentication options. We're not going to go over these today. We're just going to take the defaults. But when you're ready to look at these options in more detail, come in and click on the Help button up at the top, and that will take you to the page of the help that has all of these options described. Next, let's take a look at the Mail Services screen. You'll notice there's a required field. We have our little red mark over here. So we need to fill in something on this screen. We're going to scroll down over here and find our required field. Here it is, Browser Email Template. And you just want to use this little drop down and select a default. I recommend just picking default.html because we haven't really set up anything else yet. So we'll just keep that default. This page also has a lot of different options, and you can press Help to learn more about them. Those are the important screens that we wanted to look at for right now. So let's go ahead and come down here and click Apply, and that is going to save our changes that we've made so far. We do get this message about our services are going to be stopped before the changes are applied. So that's normal. Just click on Yes. The system will stop the services and apply our changes. So let's just give this a moment here to run. Once our changes have been applied, we will automatically be taken back to the database server screen. But what we want to do next is go to the Manage Services screen down here at the bottom and just verify if our services are running. For this part, the important services are the SBM Tomcat, it's already running, and also the World Wide Web Publishing Service, and that's running. If they were not running for any reason, you would just click Start up here in the corner. Because we clicked apply and our services have restarted, all of the other databases should now be initialized. And with that, we are ready to log in. You can try to use the shortcut that comes in the Start menu. It's under Start, Micro Focus, and SBM Work Center. This is the shortcut that comes in the system automatically when you do an install. But I do want to mention a lot of companies have strict rules about using browsers on the server. For security reasons, they will block most of the browser functionality. So if the login screen gives you any strange errors or behaviors, you'll just want to try it again from a browser on your local desktop. Let's try it from a browser just for practice. I'm going to open my browser. In our browser, I'm going to type in http:// my server name, which is SBM12 for me, /workcenter. We'll type that in and the system will start to load. That was pretty fast for me this time, but usually after the services are restarted, it will take longer for the login screen to open. That's because SBM is building its cache and preparing for usage. So on the first login after a restart, just be patient. Sometimes it takes a few minutes. On this screen, we can log in. We will use the same admin login that we used earlier when we were initializing the database. Just enter the name and password and click Sign In. The first time you log into SBM, you will be prompted if you would like to take the tour. You can click Start to do the tour now, or later to get prompted again next time you log in, or dismiss if you do not want to see this message again. For now, I'm just going to click Later. Well, we have successfully logged in. There's just a couple more steps to go that I wanted to talk about for today's video. Now that you have been able to log in, it is time to install any patches for your version. In this demo, we installed SBM 12.0, and there was one patch available to us when we downloaded our files. We downloaded that patch at the same time when we downloaded SBM. So to install this patch, you would unzip the file first, which I've already done here, and then drill into the file. In this patch, I do not see any installation directions. Some of the patches will have the installation directions directly here inside of the patch, and other ones don't. This one does not, so I'd like to show you how to find the instructions. What we're going to do is jump back over to our browser, and we're going to go back out to the sld.microfocus.com website. This is the same website we used to download earlier. And we will log in. Just as before, we will get prompted with some terms and conditions. I'll click Accept. Then we get some information about licensing. We'll click OK on that one. Once we're in, we need to verify if our account is selected here or not. My account is missing, so I am going to search for my account. Click up here in the search box and click Account Name. And I'll put in my test account. It's just Vicky. Let's see here. Okay, and then when my account comes up, I will click Select. And I will scroll down. Now I see my account written here in the middle. And I'm going to go to the download page. And on this page, I will be able to select the product. We'll pick SBM. And we'll select the product again. And then our version number. Okay, so this is the page where we downloaded previously. You'll see here our patch 1, and we downloaded it over here using this little download button. But we need the instructions on how to install it. So those instructions are on the left under Reference Material. If you hover over that, you'll get a little pop-up with a link, and when we click that link, it will take us to the details for that patch. I will scroll down here and we'll get some information about the patch. We've got information about what was fixed, and if we keep going down, we have our installation instructions. Every patch is different and the instructions will be different for every patch. So I'm not going to go through that today. It's really simple though, just follow the instructions step by step and it should be easy to install the patch. So go ahead and install any patches that are available for your version now. There is one last important piece before we wrap up this video. To understand this part, let's take a final look at our installation diagram. Notice that we have 3 SBM servers involved. We have a test server, and then we have 2 production servers. All 3 of these are sharing one application repository. That means all 3 of these machines need to be able to talk to each other and communicate with each other. This is done by sharing a set of security keys across all 3 servers. So this is what we will look at next. These keys are inside of Configurator on the security screen. If your certificate is missing or expired, you can come into this screen and click Generate All to create them. We already did this earlier in our videos, so we already have a certificate here. But this is the certificate that is installed on this machine. Now we need to share this certificate with the other 2 machines in our environment. To share these certificates, we will come up to the top and click Export All. We'll select a location for our files, and the system will automatically give it a name. You can change it if you like. It doesn't really matter the name of the file. And we'll click Save to save the file. You will be prompted for a password. Go ahead and enter any password you like, but do not forget the password. And click OK. The File Explorer will open and show us the file. Now you would need to copy this file and move it to each of the other 2 machines that are involved in the setup. Once the file is on the other machines, you will open Configurator on those machines and go back to the security section. On the security screen on that machine, you will come and click Import All, and then you will select the file that you just moved over and click Open. You will be prompted for the password. This is the same password that you entered when you created this file. So if you forgot the password, you can always go back, re-export, and get a new file with a new password. I'll put my password and click OK. The system will tell you that it needs to stop the services before it can apply the new certificate. Just go ahead and click Yes on that. The system is now stopping the services and will apply the new certificate. When the system is finished, you'll get a small confirmation message. Just click OK. One more thing to notice about these certificates. They do have an expire date, and this date will be important. You should update your maintenance process documents or add a calendar reminder or something similar to remind yourself that you will need to come back in here and generate new certificates later, and then copy those certificates to the other servers again. If you forget to create new certificates before the expire date, the 3 machines would no longer be able to communicate with each other. Before we leave Configurator, we want to make sure that our services are running, so we'll go under Manage Services, and Tomcat is running, and the World Wide Web Publish service is running. Perfect. If these were not running for any reason, you can select them and hit Start. That completes this section of how to install SBM. Next up, in our last video, we will talk about Composer. SBM administrators will use Composer to design and configure SBM applications. We will talk about how to install Composer and connect it to your SBM server.